For a lot of us, growing up with abuse and especially neglect trained us to adapt our personalities so that we could avoid getting into trouble with parents who maybe got angry easily, who easily forgot about us, to try to show them that it was cool, that we could handle it, that we were okay. And that was one way that we survived trauma. But the problem is that when you grow up and you start getting into romantic relationships, you can use that same adaptation to tolerate situations that are actually completely unacceptable. And the job of healing from trauma is to start identifying those survival strategies that helped keep you intact as a little kid, and now to take them off and stop the self-sabotage that they create in your relationships today. So one of the most insidious archetypes that comes up in traumatized people, and this is a woman thing, and I think there's a male version of it, but I call it the cool girl. You know what the cool girl is? She's cool, she has no expectations, she's okay with however you want to treat her. She's not like those other girls who are demanding, who get emotional, right? Who have expectations of where a relationship is supposed to go. That's the cool girl. And I think a lot of women know who this is. I think a lot of men know the cool girl, and there's a version of that in men, and you can tell me about that in the comments. But the problem with the cool girl is that even though she gets included with the guys who love that she requires nothing, she, in the end, does not get what she wants. A person who doesn't have boundaries, expectations, requirements, or needs does not get what he or she wants in the end. So I have a letter today from someone who I think might be caught in this cycle. I'll call her Isabel. And she writes, "Hey Anna, my partner and I both have CPTSD, and we're experiencing a perfect storm of our childhood traumas and adult maladaptive coping mechanisms. It's created a very confusing relationship, but we seem to be finally understanding it. In the beginning, we moved too fast, had sex too soon, said I love you too soon, and believed in a fantasy future that we've spent years trying to create." I'm circling here things I want to come back to when I do the second read through, but let's just see what Isabel's saying. "We both played the part of the cool, laid back, it's all good partner with no boundaries or expectations. We thought it was pure acceptance, and it felt like the antidote to the control, neglect, and abuse we both experienced, not only in our childhoods, but also in adult romantic relationships, of course. We both felt something was off, but just kept going. In fact, maybe the more we felt something was off, the more we pushed to keep going. I went into hyperactive detective mode, trying to get answers and piece things together and uncover issues that I knew were festering under the surface. He retreated into dishonesty, emotional affairs, and secretive friendships, even traveling across the country more than once to meet up with a female friend from college in secret. I figured this all out by obsessively putting two and two together, and then finally, stupidly snooping to find answers that I knew he continued to hide from me. Not my finest moment. I know that's how he stayed safe growing up. But I stayed safe being the investigator, looking for clues and patterns constantly. I struggle to figure out whether I'm just jealous because he prefers friendships with women, since he doesn't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to pathologize his preference for female friends, but I also can't believe it's healthy considering what he comes from. Abusive, neglectful, alcoholic parents who have never said I love you, have never been affectionate, and show no self-awareness or remorse. His parents are constantly invalidating of everything about him. Despite his degrees, his accomplishments, his talents and skills, he seems to get his need for validation met with these female friendships. So now I don't know if I'm finding real issues or if I'm reading too much into what I'm finding. I struggle to figure out where my jealousy is coming from. I'm not sure. It ignites a deep insecurity in me that he has these female friendships that I know comes from how perfect I had to be during my years of abuse, but I can't tell if that's all this is. When we talk about things, he's humble and calm and willing to keep trying, but then he continues to lie. I'm confused. He's confused. We're confused. And yet when we sit and talk about this, it's mature and open, and there's a willingness to keep trying. This feels like closeness and connection. not ending things. The guy is special and it kills me to think of having to let him go, but I can't quite tell if that's the right thing to do or if it's possible for us to keep on going so that this isn't one more failed relationship. It confuses me that I can't let him go. I'm not sure there's something worth holding on to or if I'm just avoiding the pain of separation. I think as long as we're discovering what's been happening and are able to come together in real conversation and openness, there's a chance. But I just don't know. I don't think either of us trusts our instincts or would ever feel like we could end it as long as we keep questioning ourselves. It's like there's always one more answer, one more possibility right around the corner. The more I understand about him, the more I feel I should be compassionate and keep working at this. Another failed relationship could be a setback rather than a wake-up call. It's tiring, but I don't know how to figure out what to do. Isabel. All right. Oh boy, Isabel. Oh boy, you are the cool girl. And I get it. You grew up with CPTSD. You told me very little about that, except that it had got, in a separate letter, you told me it had gotten a little bit better, but you had a long way to go. And you do. You're a cool girl, and that's actually not a good person to be. And I'm going to try to help you by going through your letter again. Let's unpack it and see what it says here. All right, partner and you both have CPTSD, experiencing a perfect storm of childhood traumas and adult maladaptive coping mechanisms. Okay, very confusing relationship, but we seem to be finally understanding it. I would say, no, maybe not. Okay, because you're confused. Okay. In the beginning, we moved too fast, had sex too soon, said I love you too soon, and believed in a fantasy future that we've spent years trying to create. So, okay, that's really normal for CPTSD. People totally know about it. Everybody does. It's understandable that that happened. But now what, right? We both played the part of the cool, laid back, it's all good partner with no boundaries or expectations, all right? So there it is. That's why I called you the cool girl, because you tried. And you say he did it too, only it seems like maybe he's succeeding at being in that role, and you're not. You're miserable, and I would be too, just telling you now. Okay, we thought it was pure acceptance, and it felt like the antidote to the control, neglect, and abuse we had both experienced, not only in our childhoods, but also in adult romantic relationships. We both felt something was off, but just kept going. And, you don't say what this was that you guys were so cool about, but I'm guessing it has to do with sex with other people. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So, in fact, maybe the more we felt something was off, the more we pushed to keep going. I went into hyperactive detective mode, trying to get answers and piece things together and uncover issues that I knew were festering. He retreated into dishonesty, emotional affairs, and secretive friendships, even traveling across the country more than once to meet up with a female friend from college in secret. That's terrible. Okay? I'm just going to say that right now. We're going to get into that. What he did was terrible. This confusion that you have, I'm just going to start by just validating what he did was terrible. It would be very rare that any relationship would ever recover from that. But the reason this has gone on so long without either breaking down or you leaving or him leaving is because you put up with it, okay? Is because you are willing to participate in this gaslighting of you, that what's actually going on is just good communication and openness and, acceptance. But that's not what's going on. I'm not hearing here that you guys have an open relationship or something. He's actually lying to you about it because it's not okay with you. So that's what's going on. Okay. So then, who I want to talk about is you, because it's easy to see what's going on with him. It just sounds like he's having affairs, emotional and sexual, and traveling across the country twice in secret to be with some other woman. It's like, Isabel. That's what's happening, all right? But you've accepted this idea that he just prefers friendships with females. That's just all it is. Is that okay? You don't want to pathologize it? Well, I wouldn't pathologize it if that's what it is, but friends don't secretly meet across the country. That's not what friends do, and that's not how they treat their partners. Okay, so just waving the flag. Here it is, okay? This is a terrible situation. Trust has been broken. All right. So you said, I know that's how he stayed safe growing up, but I stayed safe being the investigator. So here you are, very cleverly taking psychology and trying to explain, well, he stayed safe by lying and cheating on people. That's not safety. And I don't think that's, no, I don't think so. I think that's what he's doing now. And you say, I stayed safe by being the investigator. So this is not some like fancy dynamic. You're being the investigator because you're being lied to, and it always sits wrong with you, and the gaslighting isn't 100%. There's this 10% of you that goes, wait a second, this is a lie. I need to know what's going on. That's rational. That's rational. That's not you staying safe. It's not you acting out or anything. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with friendships with women. I don't either. Nobody does. It's the secret affairs with them, okay? I don't want to pathologize his preference. I can't believe it's healthy considering what he comes from. So here's another trick you're doing where it's not healthy because of where he comes from. It's not healthy because of you, because of your existence, because of the need to have secrecy and lies and damage your safety and security and your heart and your well-being in order to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to see these other women. He wants you to be with him. He knows he can't have both, so he lies. And who even knows what he tells the other women? Who even knows? This is pretty far gone, right? He had abusive, neglectful, alcoholic parents who have never said, I love you, never blah, 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 blah. And yeah, like people who have that, like all of us here on this channel, we have struggles, and I don't doubt that has to do with his lack of integrity. His parents are constantly invalidating of everything about him, but yeah, you know what? He's not a kid. He's a man, and it doesn't matter if his parents are invalidating. He has chosen a partnership with somebody who's not okay with him having other relationships, and he's completely out of integrity. This is not about his parents, and it's about him, and it's how he's treating you. So I know this is going to hurt, Isabel, because you've got this whole like psychological cool girl. It's like, oh yeah, but psychologically, with his parents, like he kind of has to have affairs, and you've talked yourself into it. This is you gaslighting yourself. That you feeling really bad about this and uncomfortable and angry is somehow, it's just like you being unsupportive or lacking compassion. And that is gaslighting yourself. That's what it is. Now, I know there's people who watch these videos and they'll always say, oh, polyamory is an option. I always put it out there, like if anybody's happy in a polyamorous relationship, let me know. So far, nobody has let me know this. If it's both parties happy, I would like to hear about it. Everyone I've ever known, and I live in Northern California, so I've known folks who have done it, is always like there's terrible pain and people gaslighting themselves and thinking that they have to be the cool girl or the cool guy and go along with something, and they are so crap fitted. We fit ourselves to crap. The trauma, being treated bad as a kid, you get this superpower to fit yourself to any unacceptable situation and to just sit there and blame yourself, to doubt yourself, to pathologize yourself, rather than to recognize what's happening for what it is. And there's this healed you, who deep down inside, you totally know this is going on. That's why you snooped. That's why you got some validation, and you say not your finest moment, and I get it. Like snooping isn't cool. But that's kind of an old trope, right? With a cheating partner, finally somebody snoops to get the truth. If it becomes about the fact that you snooped, that's not the issue. It's not the issue. It's what you found. It's what you found, and it's that he was lying and that you have these chats. So you say, I don't know if I'm finding real issues. Honey, you're finding real issues. Or if you're reading too much into what you're finding. Nope, you're not reading enough into what you're finding. I struggle to figure out whether I'm just jealous because he prefers friendships with women. He insists that's how it is. That's his story, that he's gaslighting you with. I just prefer friendships with women. And lots of people have friends of both genders, but I'll give you just a tip for when one day you're in a good relationship. If you want a good relationship, do not make your partner jealous. And if your partner is pathologically jealous, don't be with that person, but usually that's not what it is. It's been my observation that the culture that I grew up in places this huge premium on cool girl behavior. It's like, oh, come on, you're just being jealous. And all I'm doing is hanging out with some ex who still has feelings for me, or who I still have feelings with, or the way we act around each other, you can tell, you feel the vibe, you're looking at the behaviors, you're noticing I lie about it. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. That is sucking the life out of a person like a vampire, trying to keep them in your life. The person who perpetrates that is keeping you in their life so that they can have everything good about you and not have to give it back. And you're making that work by shutting down whole tracts of your personality and your logic to go, maybe it's just me. So I'm just, usually I'm not so direct with people, but I'm going to be direct with you. And I'm hoping because you have a pause button, you can take this in little measures, because I think it's going to be hard to hear. I think it is. You said that what he's doing ignites a deep insecurity that comes from how perfect you had to be during the years of abuse. That's not where it comes from. You may have been abused. You may have had to be perfect. That may keep you lying to yourself about what's really happening, but your insecurity is coming because it's not secure. It's inherently, genuinely insecure to be in a partnership with somebody who's lying and having affairs, emotional, sexual, whatever. The evidence that you have, it sounds like both, and it sounds completely unworkable for any person who is honest with herself and who requires monogamy. I suspect you're going to be tempted if you were to face that he's actually, he's seeing multiple people. That's how he rolls. And maybe this will lead to one of your other conversations that, can you live with that? And we'll get to that. So you had said, when we sit and talk about this, it's mature and open. It's not open, he lies. And there's a willingness to keep trying. Yes, you are willing to keep trying. It's mature. So mature, I think what you mean in this context, I can picture it. I've been the cool girl before. Mature means I'm not being emotional. I hear you, honey. I hear that you're seeing secretly all these other women and they're just friends. I hear you. And we're just being open. But that's not it. That's you switching off your conscience, your intuition, your needs, your emotions, your special part of you that you have to give in a relationship. You're switching it off and devaluing yourself so that it will fit with somebody who doesn't value you. Okay? Not enough values you for what they get, but not enough to treat you with respect and integrity. All right. So this guy is special. I believe it. You say it feels like closeness and connection, not ending things. That's what it feels like, but that's because your feelings are shut down. He's special, and it kills me to think of having to let him go. Yeah. Abandonment wounds are really, really hard in a bad relationship where you're getting mistreated, because the thought of leaving somebody, even though they're mistreating you, just feels like death. And your mind will just reach for any excuse to stay, to make it work, to somehow rationalize how this is okay. And that includes attacking yourself and your own logic and reasoning. So I can't quite tell if that's the right thing to do, or if it's possible for us to keep on keeping on, that this isn't one more failed relationship. Well, I think I see two options, and one is you just decide he gets to see other people, and that's okay, and you stop being you. Or the other option is, you leave, and it would be painful. And I know from so many people like us, and from myself, leaving something like that where you have all that trauma in there complicating your perception, and you just think, but if I would just tolerate this, I wouldn't have to be alone. And maybe it's just me. And he'll say all that stuff. He'll say come on, you should be the cool girl. But if you ask me, the cool girl is death. It's the death of who you are. And it's to make things work for somebody else. And that's where all this psychologizing of him, and here you go. I think as long as we're discovering what's been happening and are able to come together in real conversation and openness, there's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance that you can become somebody who is okay with him being, seeing lots of people. That's all. As long as let's say that again. I think as long as we're discovering what's been happening and we're able to come together in real conversation and openness, there's a chance I can shut myself down and let him be the way he is and not leave. And there is that chance. It sounds like he's very happy to have you do that. And you say, but I just don't know. And you know what that confusion is, that fog of confusion? It's your denial. It's the cognitive dissonance of the part of you that's just screaming, going, oh my God, this is awful, get me out. And the part of you that goes, I simply cannot leave. I will break down. My mental health, my emotional health, the wounds are so great in me, I can't face that. That's going to bring it all up. And that's the inner conflict that you're in right now. But a start would be to just acknowledge that. It really is a terrible situation. He's lying to you. So, you're not coming together in openness. That is a tone of voice you're using. That is a story you're telling yourself. Lying is lying. So you said, I don't think either of us trusts our instincts or would ever feel like we could end it as long as we keep questioning ourselves. So that sounds like a line he gives you. Hey, babe, as long as we're questioning ourselves, it's okay what I'm doing. But questioning is not anything. It's perceiving, it's answering. Oh, he's lying. Oh, he's cheating and lying. So there it is. It doesn't matter how much he questions himself. It's what he decides to do about it and whether that's acceptable to you, Isabel. You are a precious human woman, and you desiring monogamy from somebody is totally allowed and good. It's a good thing about you, and it's something that you get to have. But you can't have it as long as you cling to a relationship where somebody's not willing to give it to you. All right. It's like you say, it's like there's always one more answer, one more possibility right around the corner. That is so much how trying to bargain with death is. You're trying to bargain with the end. Maybe there's one more possibility. Maybe if we read this book, maybe if I started cheating on him, maybe if I were prettier, or maybe if I just was cool girl. If you were cool girl, this would work perfectly, and you can pretend to be cool girl for the rest of your life. But is that really what you want? Or can you picture a life where you genuinely, a life and a relationship where you get loved for who you are, and you wake up every day and they stay with you, and they don't want to see other people. They're quite content to be with you. They feel lucky to be with you, Isabel. Okay, that's possible. So you say, the more I understand about him, this guy, the more you feel you should be compassionate and keep working on this. So it's weird. Compassionate seems like you feel like he has to do this because he's so effed up, right? And it's just like mean or something to leave him. So that's codependence. That's what that is. There's 12-step programs for that. You might want to check it out. But it's codependence to think that the problem with having a boundary for yourself around getting treated like this is that it would be mean to him. He's being very mean to you. Very, very mean. But he says all this happy talk like, we're just questioning ourselves. So the more you understand about him, the more you feel you should be compassionate. So I don't know, are you his mom? And because, having children is kind of like that, where no matter what they do, you love them anyway, and you don't leave them. But that's not what a partner is, all right? That's not what that kind of love is. You said another failed relationship for him could be a setback rather than a wake-up call. So yeah, would it set him back? I don't know. I think it would set him free. It would set him free. For you, the perceived setback is that you're going to have to face more of your trauma wounds, and you'll have to deal with that abandonment wound that's going to come up, whether you're leaving the perfect guy or some guy who treats you like this. That abandonment wound is always going to play out the same either way. I can't tell you how much time in my life I wasted holding on to relationships that I knew flat out were just awful. But I was just like, I just can't go through the feelings I'm going to have when this ends. It's going to be crippling for me. I'm not going to be able to get anything done. I'm going to be so sad. I'm not going to be able to do my life. And I just can't do it. Let's just see if I can find one more answer or one more possibility around the corner. It's so true. Bargaining with the end. Just bargaining with it, right? But all your power is meanwhile just draining out while you do that. So you say it's tiring, but I just don't know how to figure out what to do. And that's why you wrote. And I think the people here can weigh in about their experience with this situation. They can tell you what they think. And you can see what other people think. I don't think that I have this very unusual point of view or tough love or anything. It's tough love only in that I'm being direct with you. I hate to see this. I hate to see any of my sisters or brothers here suffering under lies and trying to attack their own very being to make the lie work for somebody who's taking advantage of them. So that's my 2 cents on that, Isabel. I'm going to encourage you to support yourself to deal with everything that's about to happen for you, whether you stay or leave or when you decide to do it. is going to be intense. And so what you're going to need women friends, all right? Who cares about his friends? You need your friends. And when you have friends, when you have somebody to spend sad evenings with, when you have people who will listen to you, maybe you want a therapist, maybe you want a coach, maybe you want to come into my program, and get some coaching and come be a member there. You want to support yourself so that a whole bunch of structures in your life are designed to kind of hold you and contain you when the sadness comes and you just think, oh, screw it, I'm just going to go running back to him because it's where I was. At least I would have a companion, and I'm sure I can kill off the part in me that wants like a proper monogamous relationship like I always wanted. You'll do that to yourself. If you have proper support and you have people to keep reminding you what you really want and who you really are, that can be a big help. And then also the emotions that come up. The reason I'm always talking about the daily practice here, those are the twin techniques that I teach everybody. It's a free course. You can come on free Zoom calls with me. But it's a specific writing technique and a simple meditation technique, and you do them together. And it can take all that emotion that's been holding people hostage, holding you hostage. Like, I can't deal with the grief I'm going to feel if this ends. I can't deal with the failure of it. I can't have hope. Like, all of that can go pouring into this technique, and you can get relief from it. You have a good mind. I can see it in what you're writing. You do know what's going on, and something better is possible for you. And you need assistance. You need tools that you can use anytime, in the car, in bed, on the toilet, at the desk, at work, anywhere you are. You have a way to take those emotions and kind of process them out, so you're not just having hamsters running around in your head going, oh my God, I'm terrible, I got to change myself, I got to attack myself, it's all my problem. You have a way to just like get it out in words, on paper, not triggering yourself, just acknowledging that it's there. Then you can ask for it to be removed, and then just rest in meditation, and you'll be amazed how much lighter hearted you can be and have a little more space. It doesn't solve all of life's problems, but it makes you more able to face whatever comes. And that's what freedom is. That's what self-confidence is that that whatever happens, you'll know what to do. You'll figure out something. You may not know what the problem's going to be yet or what it's going to feel like, but whatever it is, you'll know what to do. So with that, I really encourage you, try out that daily practice. There's a link below in the description section. I also have a dating course if you decide that dating is in your future, or even if you're just trying to figure out how you got into this one. My dating course is all about claiming what you want in a relationship and in your life, writing it down, being clear about it, and then taking a look at some of the 5 or 6 common ways that people with CPTSD kind of go off track with that. Don't go for what they want. Instead, go for something toxic, invalidating, and self-destructive. We all do it. We all do it sometimes, and you can heal. You can heal from that. So the course is designed to help you face gently and honestly what's going on with me, and then to chart out a path forward. The course talks about how to leave, and it talks about how to date in a structured manner, which the way you guys dated willy-nilly at the beginning, so did everybody. It's okay. It's okay that you did that, but now you can do it differently. And doing it differently, you have everything to gain by doing it consciously, slowly, and in a direction that you already know is what you want. So for any of you who want to hear more about this topic, about how to stop crap fitting, how to stop going into denial about what's happening, and to get clear and honest about what you want and whether that's what you're getting, I've got this video lined up for you right here, and I will see you very soon.